Hi guys, so I'm sat by my Christmas tree and I thought I'd record what has become a yearly tradition for me on YouTube, and that is to talk about my word for the year, because I am that sort of person who likes to set themselves a word that to work towards, or that inspires, motivates, represents me, and I've shared that for the last couple of years now, and I will post the links below to the last two videos, the word for 2017, the word for 2016. I'll post them below in case you're interested to know what previous words for the year were and what they meant to me and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I set a word for the year because I like to use that as something that I can think about during the year, and I like to revisit that word as well. I like to kind of use it as a development tool for myself, either mentally, physically, spiritually, intellectually, anything with yuli at the end. I like to do that to kind of like push myself. I'm the sort of person, like, you know, as you guys probably know, I do have anxiety, I do have OCD, I am an overthinker, and I like to kind of set something that I can focus on and like channel some of my energies in. And I'm the sort of person that never sits still. I'm always like, you know, I do relax, and I do try very hard to live in the moment. But equally, sometimes I'm like, and I just find that setting a word for the year just kind of helps me focus and think about where I want my life to be headed, and things I want to achieve. Because I'm finding the years, as I'm getting older, I'm finding the years kind of like roll into one, and I like to think about things that I can achieve. And things I'd like to do. So yeah, I like to set a word for the year, and last year I set 2 words actually, and I'm kind of on that same thinking for this year as well. And I mean, it's a personal thing, it's a personal journey, so it's entirely up to you how many words you set, but I would say set words that kind of have like a real meaning for you, things that you really want to either change in your life or develop more in your life, you know, that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be like absolutely monumentous or anything. Back in 2016, my word for the year was you, because I found during that particular year that I kind of lost sight of who I was, and I wanted to get back to who I was as a person, as well as it had a double meaning because I also wasn't looking after me, so I wanted to kind of like practice more kind of self-care and things like that. So, you know, it's something, it doesn't have to be anything like real life-changing or, you know, like massive or anything, so don't kind of let it scare you if you want to set a word for the year. And I know a lot of people do set a word for the year. A lot of people like to meditate on that word, make a vision board based on vision boards based on those words. I like to kind of journal about my words and what they mean to me. I also like to kind of do I'm not actually sure what the politically correct term for this is anymore, because I know it's changed since I was at school. We used to call it a brain dump, but I think it's called something else now, like a spider chart. You know, when you put the word in the middle and then you kind of do branches off and put other words and descriptions. I like to do that, as well as kind of set myself some like goals or to-dos or something based on that word and how it's going to work for me. So yeah, I've been thinking, this is like when it comes up to the time end of the year, I like to kind of sort of take stock on what's happened during the year and what's gone on and what I did well, what I could improve on, that kind of stuff. I kind of give myself like a mini appraisal. I don't know, I just find this time of year quite reflective, I guess. I do like to kind of think like, you know, what we're going to do next year. And that kind of like, both John and I, we sort of talk about, well, what holidays do we want to go on next year? You know, what do we want to do next year? You know, we're going to do anything to the house, because, you know, we have been trying to do like home maintenance and stuff, you know, slowly chip away at the house, what, you know, things that need doing. And so, you know, we can't sort of like, oh, you know, what do we want to do in the house, the garden, holidays, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of good to kind of set a few goals, and particularly if there's anything you want to work towards that is a financial thing. If you need to kind of like set a savings plan or a budget in place, something like that. So those are kind of like all the reasons. This year, yeah, I've been kind of like taking stock of 2017 and thinking, I'm going to set a word for 2018. And, you know, I got a big makeup smudge. I just suddenly like looked in the actual thing of the camera, not the phone, my screen on the phone, and not the camera, and I'm like, I got a bit of makeup smudge. So this year I was like, oh, am I going to set a word for 2018? I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to set a word for 2018. I always set myself a word. And then I was like, well, what is that word going to be? And it wasn't actually coming easy, but lots of words were coming. And I was like, oh, I can't kind of think about, I can't do loads of words right now. And then I was like, but they all kind of come round to the same sort of thing and the same theme. And I don't actually think there's anything wrong with that. So last year, one of my words was simplify. And I actually think I'm going to take that word through to this year as well, because that's kind of been like an ongoing journey for me, and it hasn't stopped. Just because 2017 is coming to an end, the whole simplify thing isn't coming to an end either. So I'm going to carry that through to 2018. And simplify for me, like we've been doing a lot of decluttering. We've been doing like the whole, you know, I did a bit of like the KonMari thing, and John and I have been practicing a lot of minimalism and stuff like that. So I kind of want to carry on doing that this year, because we've still got a lot of work. There's still kind of, you know, a lot of stuff around the house, like you accumulate, you know, John and I have been together, we've been living together 15 years we've been living together, and, you know, and obviously we bought stuff from when we lived with our parents with us as well, you know, and just over the lifetime you do accumulate a lot of stuff. And, you know, and so we are slowly decluttering that stuff. But it's not just about simplifying the things around me, like physical stuff, also mentally as well. Like I'm still learning to let go of things and not stress over things so much. And also last year, one of my words was best, like you know, doing your best kind of thing. And so that's still kind of something that I want to work on, is like simplify my life, simplify the stuff around me, and yet even more kind of slow life down and just concentrate on living and not rushing through things. Like, I don't know, I'm finding that like time just whizzes. I mean, some days are long, like the Gretchen Rubin quote, you know, the days are long but the years are short. That is so true. You know, some days just really drag, or, you know, if you're having a difficult day, but then like this whole year just seems to have gone by in a blur, and don't necessarily feel like I have appreciated. Like I felt like I was just getting into autumn and appreciating the season, and now we're coming up to winter, and it's like in my head I'm like, but I'm only just getting into autumn, you know, that just went by in such a flash. So I want to kind of like definitely kind of like be living more in the moment, and that sort of stuff. So like the word simplify kind of still really resonates with me this year. The other word that that like really comes to the forefront is adventure. And we went on lots of adventures last year, and there are some of the, you know, like I did if you like guys didn't know, I do have an online course called Adventure Journaling, and not all adventures have to be like a 6-week backpack around Tahiti or whatever. You know, adventures can be whatever you want them to be. And for us, we've got a camper van, and we just did like weekend trips. You know, we stayed in remote places, or places very, very free. We had lots of adventures on very little money. You know, you've got to eat whether you're at home. So if you're at home, so we just kind of had pasta in the van, and we found places to stay, like car parks that let you stay overnight and things like that, or out on the moors and things like that for free. And we had loads of little adventures, and that made us so happy, just kind of simplifying things and you know, just kind of spending your days just pottering and reading and spending time with each other and cooking and that kind of stuff. So I think I want to use the word adventure because I want to take that through to 2018 and have lots of adventures. And we're already talking about modifications and things that we can do to the camper, to kind of, you know, things like putting a pop top on and stuff like that. So I think that, well, like, so I think I might use the word adventure. But other than that, the other word that kind of pops into my head is thrive. Like, what makes me thrive, that kind of thing, and to do more of that, you know, more of the things that make me want to thrive. So yeah, so this year hasn't been like, I haven't had like any real epiphany moments with my word of the year, but I'm not going to force it, because I think if it's not really, you know, if it's not really coming to you, then it might not be something you need this year. But there are a few words lurking in the background there. So I'm going to pull my simplify through to this year and add to it adventure and thrive. And kind of see where that takes me. As I say, I like put stuff in my journal. I set goals for myself, and so the adventure bit does also include John. So we're going to look at what adventures we can have this year, and in January we'll kind of, you know, start to look at like John's annual leave and where we want to go when. Like, we really want to go back to Scotland again this year. We loved Scotland so much. So sort of looking about, you know, what we're going to do when and what planner meets there are, because last year we tied sort of our holidays in with planner meets as well, which was really nice. So yeah, that's something that we can do together, look at our adventures. So yeah, it's kind of like, you know, spend a bit of time in my journal and you know, having to think about what I can do, giving myself like a little action plan, because I find that without an action plan I can drift. So I know our spare bedroom is basically where our wardrobes are, but I hardly ever touch anything in our wardrobes. We've got a chest of drawer each in our bedroom, which is where our clothes are, and so all the clothes in my wardrobe I just never touch. I never touch them. So apart from a few like going out dresses and things, the rest basically can just go to the charity shop or sell on eBay, because I just don't use them, so I won't get rid of them. And the spare room is also where I keep the stock for the shop, and it's also where I record like all my art videos and like desk videos. I was trying to like think what that was. But it's a tip in there, and it really does need sorting out and reorganising. So that's going to be first on the agenda, you know, things like that. So I want to kind of like do myself an action plan to tackle a section of the house. Like, another section of the house I want to tackle is our sideboard in the front room. One of the cupboards is entirely full of candles, candle holders, and it's also got a load of Project Life stuff stuffed in it. Because if you saw my video where I was talking about printing photos for December Daily and Project Life, I want to make creating or printing photos and doing my Project Life album a lot simpler and easier. So I want to kind of sort out my sideboard so that all the Project Life stuff is like organised, and so it'd be really quick and easy for me to like print off my photos and add them to my album. So I'll sort that out. So yeah, set myself like little action lists to kind of go through bits. I know some of the kitchen cupboards could probably do with a sort out, because I can't remember the last time, like a food cupboard, I can't remember the last time I sorted that out, and there's bound to be like a can of something that's gone out of date, or a box of something that's gone out of date, because that just happens and stuff. So despite trying to use food up, there is always something that goes out of date. So yeah, I like to kind of do an action list to kind of like tackle a certain area, otherwise it just doesn't get done. I float around and it doesn't get done. So yeah, that's kind of like my words of the year. Little vlog from me. I'd just be really interested to know if you guys set yourself words for the year. Like, come over to the Facebook group or something and we'll have a discussion. I'd just be interested to know if other people set words for the year. I know some people do, and how you come about your word of the year. Like, mine just sort of seem to come to me. Like, I don't really I don't know, I don't really have to kind of think of a process of finding my word for the year, but maybe you do. Maybe you have a set process that you use to kind of find your word. And then once you've got your word, what do? Do you set vision boards? Do you write yourself action plans? Do you ever revisit your word for the year later on in the year? That kind of stuff. I'd be really interested to know. So if you fancy a chat, then like come over to the Facebook group and we can talk about that. That'd be really fun. I'm going to go now because I don't really know what else to say. Not that I really said much. Yeah. Right then, guys. Take care and see you soon. Bye.